Yeah, let me introduce our panelists for today. I'm sorry, I think there was a problem with the connection. So could we have Mike? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mike. Could you just show us the panelists slides so that I could introduce the panelists? And I'd like to welcome all of you to this session. We're going to have, we have a very interesting panel lined up so that they will share with us some of their experiences as well as their research findings, yeah? I'm not getting the slide up, but I think Madam Chua is already on. So, okay, there we go. Okay, so Mike, there is another set of slides with all the information about the panelists.
Myself, huh? Now I can talk already.
Just a moment, Madam Chua, yeah? I don't seem to be getting the slides, but it's okay. Let's proceed with Madam Chua. Okay, Madam Chua, just briefly introduce yourself, please, so that our speakers are able to know where you are from.
A very good morning to everyone. I'm Chua Fong Lim from the Kiwanis Club of Kluang Mandarin. Also the founder and chairperson of the daycare center. The center has now been renamed as We Care Special Needs Children Center, supported by 3 Kiwanis clubs: Kiwanis Club of Kluang, Kiwanis Club of Kluang Mandarin, and Kiwanis Club of Kahang. These 3 clubs as under builder for them also. So I grouped all of them together to support this center. Thank you for inviting me to share my journey, my center journey from a small center to now the owner of a double-story building. Many ask us, why a special needs children center? We hear the voice and plea of many parents with special children. Unlike big cities like and states like Kuala Lumpur, Kluang is just not have the luxury of much support in this area. Thus, we, a group of Kiwanis, decided to step in to help. Like all Kiwanians, we hold firmly to our Kiwanis motto, serving the children of the world. Kiwanis is where a need is served and is decided to serve. In the year 2000, I formed the Kiwanis Club of Kluang and the Special Needs Children Center catering for baby to 6 years old. But then we realized that
recording in progress.
We have no place to go other than going to. That's decided we have another center catering from 7 years old above in the year of 2007. This center was formed. Many appreciated our work and said our center is one of the best. Thank you for their confidence in us. So what made us good? We have very strict discipline in all areas from members to center staff. Strong administration foundation. We have 13 teachers and caretakers and 3 staff under the supervision of the principal is myself. As you can see, I'm a very strict person. We have all the parents and all the teachers to be Kiwanis members. That is a must as long as the children and the staff are working in the center. As in this way, we have a big family, all under Kiwanis, and all under Kiwanis. We have a our 2 major fundraising in the year of 2015 and 2019 for this building fund. This piece of land was donated by a donor. For the past 5 years, we have been trying to raise funds to build up this center. And we have people from local, outstation, even from Singapore, to send us money when they heard that we are having a building for these special children. We believe whatever we do with a positive mind, nothing is impossible. Although faced with some setbacks, we still carry on until the center is completed end of 2019. We've moved in on March 2020, and sad to say, MCO comes in at the right timing and everything is on the hold. Until next year, we will be having our full operation. But at present, the teachers will go online. It is always what is best for our children and can help them to improve. The most important is their daily needs, when they can be independent and they can survive anywhere they go. Training provided to our teachers by the specialist consultants in their respective areas of expertise. We are willing to spend and upgrade them. Safety precautions like the CPR is adopted, and all staff must know in case of emergency, when a child is choked or nose bleeding, high fever, what they must do. They must know. It's very important. I think something wrong with my, you can't hear, can hear or not? Can you read?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Let's get some breakdown. We have very excellent and fun programs for them. We have bowling session once a week, dancing every daily, drumming, and musical instruments. We started the cooking lesson also, making enzymes and cakes, just to see that they got something to do and see individual child where they are good. We put them inside. But we talk about this type of musical instruments, it's not easy. We spend about 3 years. Only then we can form a small group to play the musical instruments. We have early intervention now. All the two centers merged together, and we have self-independence training, especially the daily needs. Many of them do not know how to shower, and even toilet train. That is the most important thing. We make sure that daily they spend time on it. We have job training so that in future they can go out to work in the restaurants and hotels. We have performance and trips to outstation once a year, but performance is yearly to at least to upgrade them and make them full of confidence and self-recognition. Every Friday is an outing day. We go picnic, we go to shopping mall, and bowling is inside one of the Friday day activities. We even took great care on their diet plans. Daily, we are taking organic vegetables that is supplied by the organic farm. Yes. And we do not eat pork.
Up to you.
Only chicken and fish is added. Only the best food of the health is served. Example, we give this good morning, all the healthy drinks, no sugar, we don't give Milo. So sugar is totally cut off. So we are very proud of our members that we are just our very, very ordinary people. We're nothing except our passion to help, and now we own this big center. It is indeed our pride, but we are still striving every day to upgrade and improve ourselves. Looking back, this center have a lot to learn. Nothing is impossible. If we put our hearts and hands together, what to decide to do, we got it. And I hope more people will step up and join us to serve our community. By this opportunity, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to all our kind and generous donors who have supported us all these years. Last but not least, to give these children a chance to go out into the world, to work and live a normal life. With this, I thank you all. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chua. I visited your center in Kluang, and we were very, very lucky to have been able to see how you manage the children at your center. How the way you spoke is always from the heart. you know, and we were so amazed that you were just so mindful of a healthy diet for the children at your center. Apart from that, I think you also spend a lot of money from donors on getting specialist teachers to your center, because there were different kinds of specialist teachers, and even one of your teachers have done her master's. So we were amazed that you were able to attract these people to your center, and also that how you went on to build that new center, the We Care Children's Center, the Special Needs Center. So there all of you go. Madam Chua really started with very small, humble beginnings. And now we see where she is with all her efforts and the team. I think the important thing is that we are able to manage our team. I think for this kind of centers, it is also important that we motivate the teachers, because without the teachers, there is no center basically. Of course, we always say without the children, but if the children come and if there are no teachers, then what do parents do? You know, they will pull the kids back home. So the important thing is to have teachers, and for KMA, we feel that the training of the teachers is very important. Thank you again, Madam Chua, for your great sharing. Let's go on to our next speaker now. Could we, Mike? Could you? Yes, thank you, Mike. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Muhammad Adli Yahya. Again, I am so thankful I was able to visit the Autism Cafe project that is run by Adli, and it was a wonder. The things that they do, from the heart, it's so resonating with the theme of our symposium today. Yeah. Adli was holding a great executive director's job at Standard Chartered Foundation, but he ended his corporate journey because he felt he needed really to build a future for his son, Lukman. And it was such a pleasure to see Lukman Adli, you know, at the cafe, you know, doing the things that he's able to do now from unable to able. Okay? So as they say, there are no disabilities, there are only different abilities. And you saw that, and you picked on that, and you started to build that future for your son. So with this, let's give a round of applause to Adli. And Adli, please proceed, because I know you also have no slides, but it's okay. We want to listen your heartfelt stories. And if there's any findings or any research that you have, please share that with us also. And you have 10 minutes, Adli. Yeah, thank you. Okay. And Mike will have on the time. Thank you so much.
All right.
Proceed, Adli.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me in today's program. Yeah, thank you so much. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm a professor, but I'm just a father to my son, Lukman. So I'm telling you guys a story based on my journey with Lukman. Yeah, you know, autism is a spectrum, and when you have a spectrum, you have varieties of behavior. You know, different from one person to another person, and you have those who are intelligent, those who are severe. The intelligent ones, they can make their own living. The severe one, you have to put them at a certain institution and you look after them. You know? But the midpoint, which is the so-called the midpoint that I coined, is the one that my son belongs to. He's neither very intelligent nor he's severe, but they need to live. And I want him to lead his life to the fullest that he can, you know, maybe not 100% like us, but to the fullest. So I rest to the fact that with his characteristic, with his ability, nobody will employ him. And one of the components in living life to the fullest is to be able to earn on your own, to be able to make friends, to be able to enjoy life, you know. So I want him to do that. So facing, as I said, I face the fact that nobody wants to employ him. So what am I going to do? I can't just leave it to the teachers. I can't just leave it to the shadow. I can't just leave it to the government. So I decided to do it on our own. So we decided to open up a cafe called Autism Cafe Project. And cut things short, we send Lukman to school, but the school doesn't suit him. It doesn't at all. The system that was being taught to Lukman doesn't fit him. So for 2 years, in fact, for 3 years, we sent him to school. There's no improvement that we saw from him. But when we put him out, when we took him out and we put him to work at the cafe, that's where he started to show a lot of progress. As I said, it was leaps and bounds, And apparently, the environment that we have created within his abilities so suits knowledge from there. He couldn't do it at school, but at the cafe he did. Can you imagine? Yeah, can you just? I was telling Prof earlier, making nasi lemak. He doesn't understand the concept of nasi lemak. We sent him to school, but he couldn't understand the concept of nasi lemak, which has nasi lemak, you have rice, you have anchovies, you have sambal, you have cucumber. He doesn't understand that. It took him about more than 6 months, and finally he got it. How we managed to do this? I mean, I can tell you so many success stories. I'm so proud of him, thinking that with his issues in his skills and all, but he managed to do that despite whatever setback that he has managed to do that. And we saw that success with other kids too, And the conclusion on my side is how we managed to do this is simple. The learning process that we took upon is we base on their abilities, not their disabilities. As cliche as it is, it's very true. When you give him something that he loves, something within his ability, he will perform. And when he performed, they felt happy. And when they felt happy, there's a sense of accomplishment, from their side. So when you hone that particular section, day in, day out, you create a happy, enjoying environment, which suits them very well. I think probably at school, they don't approach on that manner. Probably a different manner, I don't know. But that's what we did over at the cafe, and we have strings of success. I think the most success that still attached to my heart is there's one boy by the name of Pon Kid who's very negative. A single question will come up with a single answer, and it's very negative. But now he is an executive, data entry executive in KL. From where he was before, and here we are now, and here he is now. So that is an astounding success. So and I can tell you the other boys now, most of them are on their own now. Some of them refuse to go home. There's so much enjoyment that we have managed to create over here. They refuse to leave from the cafe. The cafe alone, if you look at the perspective of an FMP, it is FMP outlet, but for the Autism Cafe project, it's beyond that. We took a very much holistic approach. In totality, we don't just go for FMB. We go for their well-being, their happy thoughts, their happy environment, So that makes them happy. When you're happy, you tend to perform. And we have started this project not as an NGO, because we refuse to be in a bulk where the environmental, the culture is when you're NGO, you wait for donation, you wait for someone to give you money. We don't do that. We are a business unit, but we are being certified as social enterprise by Magic. Magic is the only organization in Malaysia that can certify a social enterprise. So we are certified. So we move on that manner. We knew it's difficult, yes, but the difficult journey taught us a lot. Taught us a lot, I suppose when you set up an NGO, there's somebody always there to help you, to give you donations and so on. We don't encourage donation, though we welcome donation. We don't encourage, We encourage people to buy stuff from our boys. So when you buy stuff from our boys, meaning you are helping them. You don't give donation, but you buy something from them. And when you do that, it creates the happiness there. They thought of being appreciated. Hey, somebody bought our items, and that makes them happy. And that makes them earning their money, their monthly salary, so-called, So we do that. And we have set this one up in 2017. Now, COVID came in. It taught us a very good lesson on how to manage business. And we are now in Daman in April. That's where COVID hit us again. And by that time, we are ready. We knew what to do already. So we have managed to survive during the pandemic time until now. And our sale is quite good. It's manageable. We don't focus on making money, but we are focusing on the boys, their progress. The money will come in. The money is basically number two, lah. We don't really go for dollar and cents. For example, I'll give you a good example. During those days, if let's say there is an order for 2 nasi lemak, we had an order for 2 nasi lemak in Shah Alam, and we are in Subang. And yet we did it because we want the boys to feel life, to be working and all. So we get the boys to produce and we deliver it to them. So it doesn't make sense, right? Because you're not earning anything. But that is not why we are here. We are here for the boys, not for the money. In fact, when we did that, it just opened up people's eyes. When you went and deliver with the boys and the recipients saw what we're doing, it opens up their eyes. They can see a real thing. This is not something that you out of nowhere. This is something that is reality. The opportunity must be created by us because they can't. They can make hundreds. My son can make 100 of bracelets, 100 of nasi lemak, But if it is lying on the table, you and I, we must open up opportunity for them. So opportunity must be created for them. So once you create it for the opportunity, it sort of open a whole new world for them. And I'm so glad that we did this. I'm so glad that we did this. We have managed to help. The perception is they always need to be helped. They always needed help and stuff. But this time around, we have changed the perception. You know what happened? They are now cooking for the frontliners. They are now cooking for the orphanages. They are now cooking for the B40 family. They are helping the society now, not the society is helping them. They are helping the society now. So you see why we did this? So it sort of gives them the environment where they can be a productive individual society. So I'm glad that we did this. We have been operating for 4 years. And I can tell you within 4 years' time, we don't have any tantrums going on. We don't have any meltdowns going on over at the cafe. Simple. The approach is focus on their ability and just put away their disability. Just focus on their ability. And when you do that, as I said again and again, it opens up a whole new world. I'm the happiest person now, as opposed to I was working in the corporate life before. Now I don't need to face the board of directors and all, But I'm facing them, and they have the purest heart that you can ever. And working with them gives such joyful experience in my life that I don't get it anywhere else, So as I said, I'm doing this for them. I'm not doing this for the money. Do support our program, because when you support our program, you are supporting the boys. When you help them, you're supporting the boys, you are building up their future. And I'm so glad that we did this. I really am. My time is enough, Prof.
Yes, Adli. Thank you.
Okay.
Would you like to say your last word? Yeah, your time is up, but if you want to say something before you end.
As I said again, I would seek your support, not in kind of donation and all. As I said, but again, if you have donation, you have extra money you want to give to us, by all means, But support us in a sense that, hey, buy from us. We don't give, so they are earning basically. If you buy from us, they are earning. If you buy from other commercial outlet, it's purely commercial driven. All right, that's all.
And thank you so much, Adli. And at the same time, I would like to say hello again to all our 48 participants. We are very happy that we have such a great energy going on here in track 4. I would like to have ask our participants to start thinking of some good issues and challenges that we could discuss once all the 4 panelists have presented their stories and their research findings. Yeah. So Adli, I love what you said, you know, they are helping society. Can you imagine that you are turning this whole concept of people with different children with different abilities? You are a pioneer in turning this concept around. You know, after I visited your cafe, I was talking to so many people because I was so impressed by what you did, Adli, you know, and my family members and obviously how do we go to Damen Mall and all that. So people, please look out. I have something here, Adli, you know, I bought, this was made by your son, the soap, and I kept on showing people that this is such an amazing product from the children, the kids, the youth in your cafe. And I'm so glad I'm personally very, very glad to hear your story.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And let's go on to our next panelist. Mike, would you please share? Yes, okay. So there are 2 mics here in our session today. Michael Russell is our TA who's helping us with all the slides. And Mike Nasri is our next speaker, okay. Nasri is now the organizational leader at Ronald McDonald House of Charities. Okay, since June 2018. Again, I am so blessed to have also met Nasri, and how we created a project, the KCTGI created a project with the RMHC, and we were building dolls, dolls that we sold during the festivals, the Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, and the upcoming festivals, right? So we had a collaborative effort with RMHC on this. They supported us a lot, and we are very thankful. Nasri is also the former Deputy Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs at Masterskill University and former Director of Marketing. So let's all give him a very warm welcome. Thank you. The floor is yours, Mike. Actually, Mike is actually having another session going on, so we hope he is able to join us. He is currently in another event, and he said he will join us through his mobile phone because you know, he is stepping in and out of the 2 events. Similarly, I am also been stepping in and out because our convocation is going on at the Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation. Mike, are you there with us? We'll give him a few seconds to join us. Meanwhile, I would like to say hello again to all our participants. Please do think of areas that, you know, Yang Berbahagia Puan Nori did mention that there is a reason why all of us are here today, you know. I think we need to strategically plan to support these special children better, you know. So if you have any case studies, you have some interesting stories to co-share with us today, we will be more than happy to have you share and tell and share with us what is it that you did, what are the challenges you went through, and what are some of your recommendations. So it need not be always a question to the panelists, but it is more of you know, you yourself sharing what you went through, so that we can collect as many stories as possible today. And hopefully later on, we will try to then create another group, you know, that will talk about this. You know, storytelling is actually a very powerful way to reach people. So I hope we will be able to create our own niche stories and share with the rest of the world. I was reading, a bit about Malaysia and how we are out there. A lot of nations are also looking at how we in Malaysia are doing what we need to do. That Malaysia is quoted quite widely. Despite that, we are still having some challenges. We are unable to provide the correct ratio of teachers to students. But a lot of Malaysians are doing, I think we are just doing a lot. People are amazed how in Malaysia we are easily giving donations,
I just go away.
supporting,
Want to go toilet?
we are supporting all kinds of people in need. And of course, children should form the focus of our attention where the need is concerned. I think Mike is not coming on board as yet. Maybe we should just, Russell, we should just proceed to Dr. Kamal Kenny, because I don't see Mike is saying anything as yet. Mike say he's waiting. I'm not sure why. Mike, your turn now, and Prof is calling you. Yeah, Mike, are you there, please? If you are there, please get into our forum. And
hi, Prof. I just talked to Mike. I think he is outside in the main room. I'll try to bring him into your track 4, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, good. Thank you, Fab. Michael, okay.
Maybe it's a good idea to start with another panelist.
Shall we? Okay, we can proceed with Kamal and come back to Mike later. Okay, Michael, if you would then put on, yes. Okay, so it's again my pleasure. I'm blessed. I feel blessed because I also listened into Dr. Kamal's previous presentation, yeah. And it's always a wonder how all of us are really putting our best foot forward to support our children. Yeah. So Dr. Kamal will be sharing with us his title. I will leave it to him. He's a consultant and social psychologist, and he brings with us over 15 years of experience in the field of training and consultancy. He has a PhD from UPM in social psychology and is founder of K&J Consultancy Ventures and Solutions. Okay, I know. I personally have felt that when he spoke the last time that he has done a lot of community outreach, and we are glad to hear about all his various initiatives that he has conducted. And he has got many research. I think from Dr. Kamal, we are going to get a lot of the research aspect of our report today. Dr. Kamal, we are pleased to welcome you. The floor is yours now.
Very good morning. Thank you very much, Prof. Apta. I'm humbled and feeling very privileged to share the platform with distinguished panelists like Madam Chua, Atli, and Mike. Although I've not heard Mike's session, but the other two speakers have spoken on very inspiring stories of what they have done working with children with special needs. For this session, I have got slides to share. So can I get the technical person to share the slides, please?
Dr. Kamal, yeah, I have just alerted Michael to share your slides in case. We'll just give him a few seconds to do that. Yeah?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you could just proceed and share a little bit more about yourself, Dr. Kamal.
Okay. I'm the chairman.
I don't think I did enough justice to your CV.
No, you did justice, but just to share a bit more, I've had been working closely with issues pertaining to reproductive health And one of the core areas that we work on is actually reproductive health of vulnerable communities, including children with special needs. This has been a long journey. Currently, I started off as a youth, and now I'm currently the chairman of Federation of Reproductive Health Association Malaysia. So that's basically how we have done our bit to reach out for children with special need as well as disabled community. Okay, so for this morning, my topic is going to be on protecting children with special needs from sexual abuse. I have anchored the session specifically from the context of sexual abuse, because a lot of people don't understand that it's pertinent for us to actually look out for cues of sexual abuse, especially amongst children in special needs. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, now just to give you a snapshot about the abuse processes. Now, one fundamental thing that we have to remember is people with disability are highly likely to be abused. When we talk about abuse, we're talking about all contexts of abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, as well as sexual abuse. So why does this happen? Why are they very vulnerable to abuse? Is because the perpetrators always look at them as individuals who are defenseless. As such, they are very easy prey. They are very easily taken advantage of. They have got very high dependence on caregivers. So it's very important for us to look at it at a very bigger macro level. So caregivers in Malaysia, if we have listened to YB Nori's session just now, the ratio of caregivers and children with special needs is actually the range is very high. So we lack caregivers. As such, the level of stress of caregivers is actually very high. So that could cascade down to resulting into abuse. We have fewer self-protection skills. So it's very important for us to empower these skills, especially to kids with special needs, for them to know the cues and the need for them to protect themselves. Next slide. Now, just to give you another snapshot about abuse facts, especially with children with disabilities, most of the time they know their offenders. The offenders are people that could be a caregiver, could be a relative, could be someone within the community. So people that they are aware of. The report crime is less frequent because they are not able to articulate, they are not able to tell and pinpoint exactly what has happened to them. Their disability can make it difficult to report. Okay, as such, that's the reason, more the reason of people take it easier to prey on these individuals, because they know they have not got the capacity to actually make a report. Reporting and investigation is often delayed because the absence of facts, concrete facts of the officer to do his or her due diligence. As such, the process of investigation is most often delayed. Abuse that happens in programs is often treated as an employment issue and not reported. So it's always covered up. Next slide. So who commits this abuse? So when we talk about especially children with special needs, when we look at statistics, 41% are acquaintance, people that are of the know of these children. 31% are strangers, 15% are partners, 9% other relative, especially when you stay in an extended family, and 4% are unknown individuals. Next slide. So 1 in 4 children with a disability will experience violence. Okay, out of this, 20% will be victims of physical violence, and 14% will be victims of sexual violence. Now, although you may see 14% as a small figure in the in a percentage, but it's actually considered very high, and more so something that we need to look at it for us to take into consideration why we need to identify and look into this matter of great concern. Next slide. Now, when we talk about sexual abuse per se, when a child is forced to do sexual acts, it can include verbal gestures or sexual contact. On many instances, it has been cases of innuendos, people using profanity on them, as well as coercion, okay, taking advantage. So because of the absence or the ignorance of knowing that they are being abused, many of these children may not be able to identify that these are actions of a sexual abuse. So all the reason for us as individuals, as catalysts, as people in the community, for us to create awareness about the need for us to act on these issues. Now, when force is immediate, it's sexual assault. Okay, among them are unwanted advances made upon these children with special needs, unwanted pain or humiliation. Now, please remember the threshold of pain is not any way lesser for these children. They go through the same amount of trauma, in fact, far more than the ordinary typical individual, because they are not able to articulate or tell what are the sufferings that they are going through. There have been many instances, cases in the hospitals where we have found children with special needs who have contracted STIs, sexual transmitted infections, because an individual who has taken advantage of them have passed on this STI to them. Use of object without consent, meaning use of a foreign object in the intention of acting sexually towards this child in the name of having a game or playing a role play with the child. So this has happened on many instances with children who are victims of these circumstances. Next slide, please. So it's very important as a community for us to come together and make a difference. So how do we make that difference is for us to join groups. Join groups here is, I think, a group like Kiwanis is making fantastic work, working with the community at large, with children with Down syndrome, with people with disability. Likewise, there are many NGOs out there. So people are always not in the know of how can they support this action. This movement is basically try to get yourself to join groups and make a difference in the lives of these individuals. Educate law enforcement. There should be more work done for us to push for bills, for us to push for policies in regards to helping people in the special needs spectrum, for us to be able to help them so that they do not become victims of sexual abuse. Encourage reporting. There should be a clear-cut reporting mechanism in place, ensure so that people will have a faith in the system. Currently, we have heard of many instances at the grassroots level, at the community level, that people have not have faith in the system, because when they make a report to the officials always feel that the report is not substantiated with concrete evidence. As such, they cannot proceed to the next level. So it's very important for us to encourage reporting. Train care providers. This is fundamentals. I always stress this in my training sessions and my workshops. We do a lot of advocacy programs for this. We need to train caregiver providers to look out for signs that a child has been abused. so that they will be able to make the necessary report. Advocate for better laws. That is also very important for us to actually push this agenda. Next slide. So how do you tackle this issue?
Dr. Kamal,
Yes.
if you could, you know, you have passed your 10 minutes time, but if you could just end it in the next 1 or 2 more minutes.
Okay, sure. In a nutshell, thank you so much. There's so much to talk about sexual abuse, and I feel that we really need to actually address this. So I think it's very important for us to actually look at sex education. And when we talk about sex education for children with special needs, it's very important that we should remember one very important thing, that one size fits all does not apply for kids with disabled kids. As such, programs have to be catered, and the right person, the right individuals who will be able to actually do these programs will be people who are trained in this field. As such, it is important that we empower therapies, interventionists to be able to carry out this program and teach children in special needs to look out for signs, so that they will not be the potential sexual abuse victim in the future. Okay, with that, thank you very much, Prof. Apta, for giving me this opportunity to share this session.
Thank you, Dr. Kamal. We must thank you for, coming on board and supporting this course. This is a very important area. And when you were speaking again, sometimes I think we can sense, when people speak, we can sense if it is really coming out, from their hearts, what they are doing, So I'm sure you have generated a lot of interest today from sharing what you do with our SEN children. And I'm sure our participants will pick this up a lot more later on. So you have planted the seeds. Now it's up to us to pick it up and talk about it in the next half an hour. So I would like to now thank you again and invite Nasri from RMHC to come on board to share his stories with us, the RMHC stories. Let's welcome Nasri, Mike Nasri, and the floor is yours, Nasri. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Am I sound okay?
Very good.
Very good. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. Very good morning. Thank you very much to everyone, especially for inviting me to join this symposium, SEN Symposium. Though I'm outside currently at Putrajaya di pejabat Kementerian Pembangunan Wanita . Kanak-kanak dan lelaki sambutan Hari Kanak-kanak Malaysia tingkat kebangsaan di
Nasri, we
Minister Datuk Sri Rina. In fact, we also discussed about OKU and the special education needs during my session, the holding room. So today is full of children and the special needs in terms of topics. In fact, the minister is now delivering her speech. Based on my experience, Ronald McDonald House Charities, established in 1990, we have been more than 30 years in Malaysia, and Ronald McDonald House Charities are focusing on children issues. So as far as special education needs is concerned, Ronald McDonald House Charities has been sponsoring sensory rooms in 35 centers nationwide. So in every state, we have donated sensory room in various care centers, special education centers in Malaysia. And in fact, we have the latest one in Tampin next to McDonald's restaurant. So this shows how close we are. Ronald McDonald's House Charities and McDonald's, especially in Tampin, we are situated next to McDonald's restaurant with a very nice sensory room, and we collaborate with care center from Suraman to run that program. So the issue, I think, for special education needs, the term itself is special. So it comes to delivering education and development for the special needs children. The classroom is also special, compared to other normal schools. We have classroom seating, but we don't have much equipment. Teachers are very, direct with the children. But when it comes to special education needs, the educating and development process is more needing for equipment, therapies, specialists. So this is where the challenge, especially when we talk about special education needs in Malaysia, we are still lacking as far as facilities is concerned. But we are also fortunate to have private or NGO actually set up this special education need or care center, and also we have special education schools in Malaysia. And in fact, the government has also invested in pusat pemulihan dalam community-based centers in many parts of the country. In fact, total as at today, about 563 centers, community-based centers in Malaysia, that covers in every parliament, which is built by the Ministry of Women and Children and the community. But it's a one-off kind of investment. So that center is supposed to be run by the community around the centers. That means that we are, as the community member, we are the one who are responsible to care for these children. So this is the issues, the issue with special education need, especially when we are trying to deliver it to the nearest possible area to the community. Because special need children are special to all of us, So we, as the community, it's our responsibility to also care for them. But unfortunately, a lot of these places are still lacking in terms of facilities. So, Alhamdulillah, Ronald McDonald House Charities, since last year, we have pledged to the ministry that we are going to support at least one center in every state for us to not only equip the center for training purposes, for teaching purposes, but we also provide training to the caregiver. Many of these centers are not equipped with the needed equipment, as well as with the therapists, the qualified therapists. So what we do, instead of providing therapies, which is not possible at this moment because the number is big, so we provide training to these centers. So we have planned training in every state. 14 states we have equipped the 14 centers nationwide. So we're going to be based in PDK in every state to deliver training and to provide training for this for the caregiver in every state. So that's one of our efforts to help. So I managed to speak to the minister just now and talking about the need for these special or the disability children, the disabled children, that we as a community need to provide for them. So apparently, quite surprising, Tadika kindergarten for the OKU in the country run by the private is very, very small number. We are talking about only 13 kindergarten nationwide, opened by private for the OKU. And when we talk about OKU, is generally in general term. It's not focused on autism or Down syndrome. So that means these 13 private kindergarten for the OKU, for the disabled, rojak, mixed with all other cases. So they are not focused. Of course, my experience with autism centers, we have quite a number autism centers in Malaysia, in every state, but of course, most of these centers are not fully equipped to deliver proper training, proper development process for these children. So this is where Ronald McDonald House came, and we sponsor, we donate the sensory room. But we are also having limited resources to provide for everyone. So this is where the community should come together and help. So I think when this symposium talking about special education for the needy, so for the special children, this is where we should focus on, because special education is special. They need equipment, they need proper trained therapies, if not therapies, at least the caregivers are given proper training so that they able to deliver the most effective treatment or development process for the kids. So I don't have much statistics to present, because I think the statistics is quite outdated, especially when COVID for the last 2 years comes into Malaysia. These children are actually the most affected one. And when special education requires specialty, special teacher, special equipment, but they are not able to go to the school, not able to go to the center. So they end up in the house without proper care. Even parents are very caring to their children, but in terms of giving daily exercise, training, treatment, therapy to their own kids, it is almost possible. In fact, one of my events with Senator Rasadi Barazi, we spoke about this when children, especially the autism kids, end up in the house without proper training or education process. So these are quite alarming issues for the last 1.5 years in Malaysia, when these children are not able to go to school and get a proper therapy or treatment. So I think we as a community, when the government established 563 community-based centers, so it is our responsibility to ensure that these centers are fully equipped, well taken care of, which is currently not. So since quite a number of us here, especially the professionals, are also around watching us today, so I will call upon everyone to be involved, especially those who are interested in SEN, special education, to also contribute. And many of these centers, they don't have the expertise, and I think many of us would love to do volunteering job, especially those who are from the field. There's the occupational therapists, the special education teachers. When they retire, I think this is part of us as the community member to do volunteering, especially in providing the education for the children in need. So this is the issue that everyone here today been talking about, the needs for this special education to be to be strengthened in the country, and probably the minister would be talking about private part taking part in this issue. Like this morning, we were talking about kindergarten for the OKU. So probably we're gonna.
Nasri,
Yes.
you are past the 10-minute slot. If
All
you
right,
could
sure.
just round up.
Thank you very much. I basically I managed to share the concern, the challenges of providing special education to the special need kids, and basically I'm calling upon everyone as a committee member to take part after this symposium to look into how can we actually contribute in getting this special education of special focus with special treatment for these kids. With that, I end this session. Thank you very much. We'll see what's the Q&A later.
Okay, Nasri, thank you. Thank you so much. I know you are very, very busy. And we really appreciate the time that you have given and sharing the challenges and issues that are on the ground, and how the Ronald McDonald House of Charities is doing their best to support. I'm glad to hear that there are 563 community centers, and emphasize on training as well. And I think this is where we like to mostly collaborate with as many partners as possible. We have also lined up some training programs under the KMA, the Kiwanis Malaysia Academy. And I was also taken up by how you have especially focused on the word special. I think sometimes we use the words, but we are not actually feeling that word special, yeah? And we have seen since the whole morning today how different kids have different special abilities, and how we can now, come together and support these children. I think the need there is a lot, and I think the more people come together and not work in silos. Yeah, I think this morning we had our keynote speakers talking about people doing things in silos. So that we need to connect. The more we connect, the better our synergies will be together. Okay, I think we had listened to all our 4 panelists today, with all of them giving you a picture of their commitments, a picture of their challenges, okay, of what are some of the issues that are out there, and also some recommendations have come through, some. So we would like now to open our session to all our participants. Please either unmute yourself and speak, or you could put something in the chat. We already have a few concerns raised in the chat, and I like to start off with in the chat first, so that as we go along, I'm sure as we speak and as the panelists speak, we will be able to again pick up, some of these issues and proceed. So we have about less than about 20 minutes, but I think that is sufficient for us to pick up a few key issues or challenges that were shared, and that about 15 minutes been told that are exactly 15 minutes, and after the 15 minutes, all of us will be back to the main track. Yeah. So we don't have much time. Let's take up something by Vinita Rajasingham. She addressed this to Madam Chua. So Madam Chua, if you could take a few minutes to get into this, to address this question. Vinita said, Madam Chua, what is your significant success in running the center? Significant success. So that is a nice word, yeah? So if you could share with us, Madam Chua, your significant success in running the center. Over to Madam Chua. Okay, while Madam Chua is getting on board with us, we will also look at what Jan Pang have said to Adli. Adli, inspired by your efforts to help this special youth to earn an income and give them a sense of integrity and purpose. Adli, maybe you could share a little bit more on that, what Dan Pang have said. I will just go through what was in the chat, yeah? So please, you all could jump in when I'm done. And for Dr. Kamal, it is from Dr. BCK. Dr. BCK asked to Dr. Kamal, do you have statistics of the cases of OKUs having been sexually abused in Malaysia? So Dr. Kamal, that's the question in the chat for you. And I think we are good now. Since Nasir was our last but not the least speaker, I'm sure some of the more comments will come up in the next. Let's take these three first, and let's have one of you jump in, either Madam Chua, Adli, or Dr. Kamal. The floor is yours, our respective panelists. Dr. Kamal, would you please proceed while we wait for Adli and Madam Chua to come on board? Yeah, let's look at what Dr. Kamal have to say for us. Dr. Kamal, if you could unmute your microphone.
Thank you for that question, but I must say that I don't have the statistics, and usually in most instances when we have approached the agencies requesting for statistics to substantiate our own research and our own workshops, we are not able to get it because of the challenges that they themselves get because they are unable to get the statistics, as I mentioned just now, because of the reporting mechanism, as well as a lack of concrete evidence. So it's a bit difficult, especially when we talk about statistics in relation to people with disability. But a snapshot for World Agent, UNICEF's findings, it's usually 1 to 4 children have had some form of abuse, okay? Not specifically sexual abuse, but some form of abuse. So 1 in 4 have experienced abuse among the children with special needs.
And thank you, Dr. Kamal. And actually, Dr. Kamal, I like to continue with this discussion a little bit more. So apparently, getting the numbers, getting the data is a big issue, actually, not only for special education needs. We happen to be working with UNESCO Bangkok, and they have given us a project on internally displaced persons, and internally displaced persons or children in crisis are all included in these IDPs that we are looking at. And their biggest issue was data. You know, how do you get data, and how do you manage data? So do you happen to have any recommendations in terms of that? You know, from your experience, you know, what is it that, what would you say about what is a good mechanism then to get data? Could you share your experience of getting data with us?
Okay, we have on our own, as in my NGO, in FRAM, we have done studies, but most of our studies has been qualitative in nature. So we have actually gone into institutions and have gone into care centers looking and interviewing individuals. But if you are looking at statistics per se, it's always been a challenge. We have tried on many instances to get into the ministry and agencies to request for data, and usually we are unable. So that's also a challenge that we have faced at our end.
Thank you, Dr. Kamal. So you have another question by Vinita again. She said, Dr. Kamal, thank you for bringing up the topic on abuses. I have a 6-year-old princess who is ASD. I agree with you and also my concern. How and what should I do to create the awareness in her?
Thank you, Ms. Vinita. That's a very, very good question. As you are aware, the children in the spectrum are very unique. There is no one size fit all. Every child in the spectrum is very, very different. We have got different levels, as you are aware. When we talk about children being in ASD, it's very important that we must remember that the first point of contact of creating awareness has to be the parent, that's the most fundamental thing that we have to remember. The parent must be. So from the time, the most basis of teaching, which I would recommend a lot of parents to do, especially parents who have got children in the spectrum, is to teach on them, empower them on good touch and bad touch. Children in the spectrum have very heightened sensory needs. So especially the problem will only come when they reach puberty, okay, pre-puberty, because they have challenges of not being able to know public domain and private domain. So they are not able to make that distinction. As such, many instances, they don't know, they are not able to, that intuition do not set in for them to know that this action is actually wrong. So it's very important as parents for us to empower the children, to tell them, constantly ask them, have anybody touched you there? Don't let anybody touch you. Tell them to identify private parts. Tell them what's good touch, what's bad touch. You know, you keep drumming that. So these are the very basic books. You'll be surprised that a child will come back one day after his therapy session, and say, today someone touched me here. So then you need to ask them, how did you react to that? So the child may tell you that, oh, I told them no. So these are the kind of things that we need to do. So the awareness process will have to start at home.
Thank you, Dr. Kamal. Vinita, we would like you to, oh yeah, she said thank you very much to you as well, Dr. Kamal. I'm sure there will be some more questions that are coming, but there is another one from Muhammad Zulkarnain. He said to any speakers, okay, so we have 4 speakers, and in fact, even our participants here, YT, I see you are with us, so please speak up as well. You have done a lot in all your years with Kiwanis, so please do share as well your views. Yeah. So Muhammad Zulkarnain is asking, I know based on the speaker's experience, which is the better learning approach for SEN children? Segregation in learning or inclusion with typical children? This is such an interesting topic, and I think a lot of us can give our views as well, but we'll open it up to the speakers first. So please, our panelists, please share with us, the question again, is it having special education needs children segregated or included into the the normal learning ecosystem that is the norm in any school? So what is it? What is it to your views? Please share.
Can I just take that question first?
Please,
before...
please, Dr. Kamal, yeah, and okay. I would appreciate the other panelists to come on board, but please. I'm sure
Encik Adli will be able to give his 2 cents on this also. Encik Zulkarnain, as you're aware, children with special needs, the spectrum is so wide, and they are very unique. They have got their own challenges. So it's not like any condition which is very straightforward that you treat them with that modality, that treatment management. As children with special needs, it's very unique to the child. So your question is like asking whether an apple is nice or an orange is nice. It's very subjective. So for some children, segregation would be the right fit for them. As for some other children, having an inclusive program will be more appropriate for them. Okay, just now Adli did mention that you have the children with severe condition as well of child who have got very high level of intellectual capacity. So they can be very dependent. They can be very independent. And he mentioned that his child Lokman was in the midway. Likewise, we need to look at case-to-case basis for us to identify whether the child fits into a segregated program so that we'll be able to support the child, or is the child independent enough for us to actually allow the child to be in a blended inclusive program.
Very nice, very nice. I think there are a lot more questions pertaining to what you have said. We'll reserve those first, Dr. Kamal. Let's go on to Razaim Razali. Razaim have asked this to Adli. Adli, I hope you will come on board now and share to Mr. Adli Yahya. In your talk, you said that you help your students learning by their abilities. Yeah. My question is, how do you determine the abilities of these special students compared to the normal person? Adli, could you share? I know you shared with us when we were at your cafe. I did ask you something also, but do share with us, Adli. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. My question is how you determine the ability. Okay. Look at the case of my son. Okay. He doesn't have any special ability. I mean, you're talking about extraordinary abilities, like, those can play music, those can sing, and, those have an extraordinary ability. My son doesn't have that. But he has an ability which I managed to identify. Simple stuff, simple ability. He loves water to the extreme. He loves water. He can spend hours playing with water, just running to the tap water, just playing there. So to me, that is ability which I can manipulate to his advantage, So what I did was, since he loved water, I give him tasks that is related to water. Us, we love water. When we just love water, that's about it, not to the extreme side. But this is his ability. He loves water to the extreme. So what we did was, since he loves water, why don't we give him tasks or work based on water? Somebody needs to clean the dishes. Somebody needs to mop the floor. Somebody needs to wash the car. So those are what I call ability to them. To me, that's extraordinary ability because they love it so much. So we give them. So when you give them those kind of tasks, they will perform, as well as those who love to talk. When they love to talk, that is the ability. So what we did was, ones who love to talk more than us, who love to talk more than us, we get them to entertain the customer. So you're honing on their ability. And when you do that, chances are they will excel. So what we did, just to catch up a bit on the earlier points, at the cafe, we pair them. One person who is like the level of Lukman, and another one who is highly functional. So we pair them together, and you could see a tremendous result from that, because they become buddy, and they socialize together with them, So these are the approach that we did over at the cafe, and it resulted a lot of many success from there. I'm so glad.
Thank you, Adli, for sharing that. We have just 2 more minutes left. Is there any final thing somebody wants to say in the next 1 or 2 minutes? Because, we have a question. Just a minute, let me see if we can quickly pick this up. But what will happen is, in the midst of our talk, we will probably be pushed back into the main session. Yeah. So in case that happens, we'll go back to the Kiwanis Malaysia Academy site and connect back to us the symposium. So Gudikpo said that I have a child 6 years old with an IQ of 8 years old, but speech delayed and communication problem. he can create amazing structures with Lego and all sorts of IT. Okay, I think Gurdeep is sharing that with us. Gurdeep, if you have something, if maybe we will connect you back with Gurdeep sometime again. And Nur Ayan said, what Dr. Kamal said is right. Each special needs child is unique in his or her own way. I am on a journey with a 6-year-old daughter who was born with Down syndrome. Teachers and therapists said she is high functioning, but she can't fit in with the 6-year-old typical child. So it's not been an easy journey for me, making sure she has the best education. Nurain, we understand. So please, Nurain, try to support your daughter as much as possible. You have heard Adli's stories with his son. I hope that gave you some motivation to do so similarly, yeah, Nurain? So, and Nabila is, wait, there is some more here. Let me see. Philomena, she said, greetings and thank you for Purposeful Saturday morning. We run community-led rhythm cycle events and welcome members of society. So please check the chat, and there is something that is going on that is outside today's symposium. So please do check the chat here and you may go and visit the Facebook as well as mobile phone is given. And Nabiha said, thankful for the session and blessed to be a part of this. She was very blessed. Yes. Nurain said, Mr. Adli is someone that I look up to in order to prepare my daughter. Yes. Please also go to the Autism Cafe